Welcome back to The Jump. I'm Rachel Nichols here with Paul Pierce, Brian Windhorst. It's time for another one of our games here on The Jump. Something, nothing, or everything. First up, Kyrie Irving. He was fined $25,000 for not speaking to the media since the start of training camp on December 1st. The Nets organization also fined the same amount. His only media interaction has been a statement he released on December 4th that did not fulfill the league's media requirements. And then today on Instagram, Kyrie posted this statement that included, quote, "I pray we utilize the fine money for the marginalized communities in need, especially seeing where our world is presently. I am here for peace, love, and greatness. So stop distracting me and my team and appreciate the art. We move different over here. I do not talk to pawns," Kyrie says. "My attention is worth more." Paul Pierce, is this fine? And is Kyrie's words something, nothing, or everything?
It's definitely something, but Kyrie has to understand, man, this is what comes with the job. You know, you're a role model, you're a superstar, whether you're a basketball player, an actor, or whatever field you're in the limelight, and this all comes with your job. It's only a distraction if you let it be a distraction, but you gotta understand, when you signed up for this, when you got drafted, when you signed these big contracts, when you're a superstar in this league, this is what you sign up for.
So this is everything to me, Rachel, and it's not because he called the media pawns. He doesn't have to like the media, that's fine. But, 2.5 years ago, I went to North Dakota when Kyrie Irving went to the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe Reservation. And he went there for several reasons. And he gave those kids and those people there an incredible day as he officially joined the tribe. He donated $100,000 that day, and that was important. But the real important, and why the media were there, was because the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe wants people who have been adopted out of their community to come back home. And Kyrie's mother was adopted out of that community. And the media giving attention to that was their ability to show to the outreach of their nation to come back. And that's where the media and awareness and the NBA players can work together. Now, I am very aware that Kyrie Irving has donated several $1 million just this year to charity endeavors. I am aware that he gave food and masks to the Standing Rock Sioux again this year. I'm aware of what he meant for those kids when on that day in North Dakota, he stood there for hours and shook every single one of their hands to give them a moment. And being there to document that was so important, not just because it's to give Kyrie Irving that he did a good deed, but because of what it means to that entire community. And for Kyrie, for somebody who cares so deeply about his outreach and what he does outside the basketball court, to act like the media doesn't play a role in that, it's just a misjudgment. And ultimately, I'm going to judge Kyrie Irving on what he does on that rectangle that's the basketball court going forward, and that's unfortunate, because we really should have a bigger conversation about what Kyrie does all around, because he is doing special things.
Well, I want to put Kyrie Irving's mind at ease in terms of fines. The way fines work in the NBA is that the revenue comes in, the Players Association and the NBA split that money, and then they farm it out to different charities. So that money is going to a good place, Kyrie, so that is good. And then in terms of the relationship with the media, look, not all media are the same, just the way not all players are the same. The media is, in general, your conduit to fans. That has changed somewhat with the rise of social media and phones and all of that, but not completely. A lot of what the fans get from players is through the media. And then there's also the money involved. The money that Kyrie makes that not only helps him enjoy the finer things in life, but helps him donate and give to the causes that are so important to him. A lot of that comes from the television contracts and the billions of dollars that pour into the league through talking to the media, being available, being a personality who is larger than life, not just what you say on the basketball court, but what you say off of it, having that voice and having the money that frankly comes with that voice that allows you to do the things you want to do, both personally and for a greater cause. And there is absolutely a way to play basketball without the media, without being fined for not talking to the media. There are courts all over this country where you can just go hoop. If you love the game and you don't want all the attendance stuff around it, I get it, man, and that is available to you. If you want to opt into this version, there are rules, and there are rules that show a respect not for any reporter per se, but for the fans who get that information, who get to connect to you through TV, through print, through video, through all the different ways that they get to do it. And I would just encourage him also to think a little bit about that as he moves forward. But as the fines pile up, yes, Kyrie, they are going to a good place. All right, let's move on to Paul George, who signed a max extension with the Clippers yesterday. PG now signed through 2025, including a player option in the last year. And when asked about the Clippers yesterday, he said, quote, "I owe them a trophy." Listen to what else he had to say.
This is where I want to be. This is home. I'm at home, and I want to build a real foundation. And ultimately, this is where my legacy, where I want to leave the biggest imprint on. It's not putting a gun to Kawhi and telling him he's got to do this or do that. Hopefully, it's a mutual bond, and we both enjoy playing with one another. So. Everybody's got their own decisions to make, and hopefully me showing my commitment, being here and wanting to play with him long term, sticks out. I owe him a trophy. That's what I owe this organization. This is a window that we're trying to capture, and my commitment and my job is to try to bring a title here.
All right, Paul Pierce, we've heard Paul George saying he owes the Clippers a trophy, along with a lot of other things he said, frankly, that have come out in the last week or so. Mm-hmm. This, though, has to be what the Clippers faithful want to hear. Is it something, nothing, or everything?
Well, yeah, it's everything. I mean, you need players like Paul George caliber to win championships, along with Kawhi. He has a chance to build on his legacy as a Los Angeles Clipper, and to start a legacy for the franchise, a franchise that doesn't have a championship. And he says he owes them a trophy. I respect that. He's from LA. He wants to bring a title to a place he's from. Hey, all the pressure's on now, Paul George. You got the huge contract. You at home. And we all know it's tough to play at home in front of your family and friends. And so, being that you signed a big deal, you at home, now it's time to bring a championship. I hope he does it.
Yeah, it's something. And Rachel, boy, when I saw this quote, I just kind of grimaced a little bit, because it's one of those things that you just know people are going to bring back. I owe him a trophy. And I know he was euphoric, and he should be. He just signed $190 million extension. And that's the thing about this trade. One of the reasons why this trade was so fantastic for Paul George, not only because he got to go home, not only because he got to play with Kawhi Leonard, but because they traded so much for him, that they are so invested in his success that they had to back it up with an extension to make sure that he remained there. So really, he's got everything he could possibly want. Now he's got to deliver, but the delivery is the hardest part, right?
Well, the biggest thing I heard from Clippers fans over the last week or two is, hey, we want Paul to take accountability for himself. And in my mind, when I heard his press conference yesterday, that's what I heard from him, was him taking some accountability. So I like that. And congratulations to him, because it's not a small thing, by the way. And, when he hurt his leg in 2014, we didn't know. We didn't know what Paul George's future was. And it's turned out to be pretty good and pretty, it's worked out all right. Just saying. Coming up, what are reasonable expectations for John Wall after a nearly 2-year absence? We'll discuss that on the other side of the break. You're watching The Jump.